A and S. I imagine Francois Baptiste in his college years rolling onto campus as the driver of the big Willville bus. As he turns onto baseline, I imagine he pops a mixtape into the slightly larger-than-life boombox and begins to jam underground 90s hip-hop. Dear listeners, it's a bus. But as Francois stops outside of Munzinger and pulls open the doors, no one gets off. Instead, 30 more pile in. This rolling party is too good to miss. I can't imagine Boulder, Colorado as a go-to destination for emerging hip-hop artists, where the likes of the Fugees and Wu-Tang walked the hill and dined at Kay's China before performing at the Fox. And yet, this was the reality that Francois helped catalyze through his positive energy and his keen eye for promotion. Listeners, get out your Lauryn Hill mixtape, because today's interview is a party in the booth. On the Ampersand, we call this bringing together of the impossible the alchemy of anding. Together, we'll hear stories of humans who imagine and create by colliding their interests. Rather than thinking of and as a simple conjunction in that conjunction-junction kind of way, we will hear stories of people who see and as a verb, a way to speak the beautiful when you intentionally let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. As St. Mary Oliver asks, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Oh, I love this question. When I'm mothering, creating, and collaborating, it reminds me to replace a singular idea of what I think I should become with a full sensory verb about experiencing. I'm Erica Randall, and this is Francois Baptiste on the Ampersand.
I think if you don't learn or look back and embrace what is done, you won't enjoy going forward as much.
Yeah.
And plus, it's a good compass moving forward of what people like, what people don't, what worked, what didn't work. Because, the music business, especially the concert business, is kind of repetitive. It's like you kind of
cycles.
Kind of build an offer for a new act. You do this, and that, and they show up. So now it's a lot of the people that are doing it. You have to be creative with the packaging, and there's a lot of competition here in Colorado. I'm very open-minded. I'm always learning. I've never been.
That's the innovation in hip hop, right? Like, you've got to innovate.
I've never been the guy to be like, I know it all. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what are they doing over there, or what's working for them? Let me go and find out what's going on.
That's tips for our listeners.
Yeah.
Is never. Yeah, you don't know it all.
No, you just gotta keep finding new things.
So for you going to see you, 91.
Yeah.
I was class of 91.
Hey!
But I made my way through Boulder at that time. I was around, but then I ended up from New York to Washington to Seattle. You came to Boulder. Okay, so my kid is 12 and a half. Yeah. And he's growing up on the hill. And he sees the party scene, and he's like, I want to be in the party. You were the party. Truth?
No.
You brought the party.
No. Like, coming to see you was just by chance.
Really?
Yeah, I had applied to Howard.
Okay.
I applied to Arizona State, a couple other places, and then a friend of mine from high school was going to play football here.
Okay.
And so his mom and my mom were like best friends. I was good friends as well. So I came up here on a recruiting trip. And
with him? You just sidekicked him?
Yeah.
Ha!
And literally just walked around Boulder campus, and I met a couple other people just randomly, and I was just like, this place is gorgeous.
You were feeling the beauty of it.
Oh, man. And people were so friendly, and I was just like, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm applying. I'm staying here.
But then when you got here, all the newspapers say nothing was happening in terms of production, hip hop, parties, DJing. You just said, I'm gonna build this? Or, tell me that story, because I was trying to track the breadcrumbs, and everything's a little different. Each one, it's a little different. I want to hear from you.
So coming to Boulder, I really didn't know what I was doing. It was just kind of like my parents like, you're going to college. And I was like, okay. So I had a really open mind of trying to figure out, some people come to school and they're like, this is my major, this is my plan, I'm going to execute it. Not me. And then I met a group of guys, some were from California, some were from New York, and we just all lived in William Village, and we just gelled. So we were like this little crew that just went on the hill and just roam fraternity parties. Like, we were like this mob of people, and we'd go.
You bring speakers, you'd bring tables?
No. The parties back in the 90s were something else. It was like that movie Project X. Like, this is before they cracked down on the drinking.
Yeah.
The funny thing was, and so this is kind of how it started, was that the guy from LA and the guy from New York, they obviously grew up in the house party scene there. And so this was the 90s, the golden age of hip hop. So all this hip hop was coming through, like De La Soul back there, Tribe, and so on and so on.
And then Common is who you...
Common. And the fraternity parties on the hill were playing it, or bits and pieces of it. Okay. But this is what we were listening to in the dorms, like getting in trouble with RAs, blasting, all this crazy stuff, a little bit NWA and so forth, Dr. Dre, all that stuff. And so the guy from LA and New York, I don't know how they do it. The story still is kind of out there, but they got turntables and a mixer. Yeah. So they were practicing in
Willville.
In Willville. And literally, I can't even make this up, they had a crate of records, and I would say it was no more than 20 records. Okay. So we were at this ZBT. We were at ZBT, and the funny thing is I'm still friends with all these guys. They would see us kind of mob around, group of us, and they knew that we were kind of DJing, and so we were like, yeah, you want a DJ? We need a new DJ for this party. And nobody spoke up, and I was just kind of like, we'll do it. And it was kind of like out of a movie. Everybody looked at me like, dude, what are you talking about?
Is this the 3 Deep origin?
This is when it began. So everybody kind of looked at me. It was kind of like, dude, we got like 20 records. I was like, and I think they were going to pay us like $75.
And you're going to go buy more records with that 75.
No, I don't even know what we did with the money. It was lost in the sauce. It was so many of us. It was like literally like at that moment, there was like 10 of us, 15 of us. And so we showed up to ZBT, and it was one of those things that, we played all the music that the kids, because, Boulder is very diverse in where people come from. Yes. A lot of LA people, a lot of California people, I would say, and so at that time, and so the California kids were like, yes, they're playing the stuff we listened to in LA, the Far Side and all this up and coming music. And then next thing you know, all these other fraternities start saying, hey, will you come DJ? Because then, the guys that weren't DJing, obviously there was 2 of them. Everybody else was dancing and drinking liquor, but we was having a ball. Yes. And so it just kind of started from there. So cool. Yeah, it was wild times.
And from there, so this is what I say to my kid. I'm like, it's not about being the life of the party. It's about making connections.
Absolutely.
Right? So you're in there, and you're starting to get a sense of who you were. Did you think, okay, now I got to study something that's going to align to take me further? Or I go to school, I keep doing school, but my next is going to come through the people I'm going to meet, the connections I'm going to make. And I'm training right now. This is my...
I think it was a combination, kind of like I was in communications. Yeah. Like at that point, I kind of knew what my major was. And
which was in arts and sciences in the day.
Absolutely. And just talking to people. I was really good at talking to people and putting things together. Yeah. And so I think sometimes what you want to do in life finds you versus you finding what you want to do. And I kind of had my aha moment of like, how can I make this bigger? Like, I know what I'm good at. Yeah. I like to be around people. I'm good at talking to people. What's the next step? And, basically back in the day, I drove the Willville bus. And so a lot of these house parties.
You drove the bus?
Yeah. Like through camp, I drove the Willville bus. And so it was twofold. One, when you drive the Willville bus, you have people from all over campus pretty much get on there, some sorts. Also, I took all the football players and basketball players to their games. So the other thing was that...
That was a strategic gig.
Let me tell you. Okay. So then you know, on the buses you had a tape player. So as a music fan, I'd put all these new remixes on and mixtapes and stuff I'd get from other people, whatever, with all the newest music.
Can we take a second for the mixtape? Can we just...
Cassette tape.
Oh, tape.
Stop, play.
Making them,
Blowing,
labeling them,
blowing
on the Sharpie.
Put the
putting
pencil.
You can feel the teeth of the... Can we just take a minute? Oh.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. to the mixtape.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, back to you.
So basically, when you would get on the bus, you'd get a flyer. Here's the new party. The football players like, hey, man, where's the party? Where the girls going to be? Hey, we're having a party here. And so that was kind of the hustle back in the day of driving wheel bus. And, you know, it pays really good, by the way. Yeah. But
so promotion started becoming the thing for you. It wasn't that you wanted to be a DJ when you grew up.
I can't DJ. I can't dance. I can't DJ.
You can't dance?
I can dance a little bit. Like, I can do a little two-step here and there. But
okay, so you can't dance but a line dance. Can't mix.
None of that.
You could make a mixtape.
I can make a mixtape.
You can find talent.
I can find talent.
You can find talent.
I can do that.
What is your divining rod for talent? What lets you know that someone is going to rock a room and they're going to grow and they're going to keep conducting energy?
I think it's the cliche thing of just getting that hair on your arms, you know, perk up and you're just like, wow, I want to know more about these guys. Or so, you know, with the group I manage now, is like I could see the vision of the potential. Yeah. I mean, it's going to take a lot of work, but, you know, a lot of these new artists is just something different. Yeah. There's so much music out now, so you just got to kind of like, how is this going to stand out? And does it excite me? Like, is this, you know,
worth putting yourself behind?
I mean, just is it exciting? Do you walk away and you're like, dang, and send it to somebody else? Like, have you heard this? Yeah. You know, and play it like 5, 6, 7, 8 million times, and you just put it on repeat. You know, that's exciting.
Yeah, you've always stayed really committed to the Denver scene or the Colorado scene.
Absolutely.
Your connection there. Do you find the pockets of you're producing, you're managing, but you also have kept community going, white parties, all of it. What about Denver? I mean, I know that it has been challenging to get hip hop, especially connected, because it started in the 90s gangs. It wasn't really allowed on the radio as well.
No. Denver,
which is something I didn't know.
Denver was terrible in the 90s. Yeah. Like that. And I think that's one reason.
Boulder was happening.
And Boulder was happening. And it was kind of the safe space. So what couldn't happen in Denver, people would travel to Boulder because there wasn't as much turmoil and madness. I mean, it happened up here. It happened up here, but it was seen as a safe place to go and, you know, go have a good party and go home.
When did that shift? And were you part of that shift in bringing that community to Denver?
Basically, just kind of give you the backstory is that when we were talking about passing out flyers on the bus, another thing was I'd have a route on the hill. So back in the day, there was albums on the hill. They had all these kiosks. You can put posters. Do you remember that stuff?
Oh, 100%.
And then, you know, back in the day, they had the Boulder Mall where they had. So literally, I'd go to these people. Oh, and the record stores.
Which is where you go.
Where you go.
That's where you go.
And literally, one of the things you had to do with communications majors, you had to go say, hey, you know, do you mind if I put a stack of flyers here? And that was kind of like the rave scene, too.
Yeah.
And so at that time, the Fox Theater opened in 93.
It was 93.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Like, I always thought it was...
Forever.
No, it opened in 93.
I think of it being like a swing club, like during the Glenn Miller era of CU. No.
Yeah, and so Don Strasberg, friend of mine, who opened it with a bunch of other people, he's very intuitive of what's going on in the community. So he just kept seeing these flyers all the time. And then I guess the word obviously was buzzing because at this point we started doing Talagis back in the day, R.I.P. Talagis. And then, do you know of the Dairy?
The Dairy Art Center?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. You played at the Dairy?
That was like our growth right there.
Was it grungy and funky? And
no, it was kind of, I mean, I haven't been there since.
Oh, we need to go because you would not have
But it was just big spaces at that point.
More warehousey.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so they let us rent them and it was huge parties. I mean, we're getting 600-700 people. It was,
and that's down from that's not on the hill.
No.
And people were coming up.
Yeah. So we started doing things around different venues. Remember, is Case China still here?
It just went away, but Case China was everything. Yeah. You do parties up there?
I have the most amazing pictures of the Fugees up there.
Stop it. We were just talking about the Fugees this morning. Wyclef? No, at Kay's China.
Yeah, Kay's China. Back in the day, I always say, hey, we're doing an after party because everyone would go hang out afterwards.
Yeah.
And I'll get you a bottle of Hennessy or something. Done deal.
Done deal. Fugees for Hennessy.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds great.
Hilarious. To this day, I got these crazy pictures. I have all these pictures from back in the day.
We're going to need to put those in our show notes.
I would love to. It's like of real film. Like, what was those disposable cameras? Yeah.
Producer Tim, make a note. We need to have the Fugees in the show notes at Kay's. The thing that breaks my heart, I love change and I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate when there's that geography gets replaced. So now we have Moxie, the hotel on the hill.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a hotel on the hill?
You were just here last week. How did you miss this?
I haven't been to I've been like if when I come here, I go to the Fox Theater and I'll go to the Boulder Theater for a show.
Go 2 steps down from the Fox. What? Gone. Dots, Diner. Kay's gone. The Moxie. Okay, and now I'm an advertisement for the hotel, so I got to stop. But the fact that students come, or Jones Drugs, you and I, we know Jones. Yeah. Now it's a Starbucks. But we still call it, are you parking at Jones? Yeah. Because it was Jones. It was Jones Drug forever. So it's just these geographical spaces that when they go away, and there's good things come. Good things grow and evolve, but there's, when the nostalgia of a place. Yeah. So did this make you kind of immune to star power?
Absolutely.
So you were just like, this is who I party with.
Absolutely.
These are my people.
I'm still friends with them to this day. Like, we still hang out and laugh about these things, and, but it was just...
So you don't even have to name drop. These are just your people. You met them, and it was just, why not us hanging out in a space?
I mean, like I said, people... In the early 90s, everything was so new and fresh that you really wanted to get out and experience so many things. And like now, if I told you about the process of after parties, you'd probably throw up at how expensive they are and so complicated. But back in the day, it was just like, okay, we're just going to go hang out, listen to some more music, cool down, drink something, and meet people and girls.
Is it because people were better? Or is it because now there's so many options? Or is it because people are boring and they don't want to go out now? Or is it because social media makes you do different things? Like, what has made that change that now it's got to be so complicated to make an after party?
Money.
It's just money.
Money, and that they know that they can make an additional paycheck, usually almost double what they played for.
Wow.
Yeah, it's sickening, actually, if I told you, like, how much people charge sometimes.
It'll make me sad.
You'd be shocked.
Maybe don't tell me.
Yeah.
How much? Now tell me. I want to know everything.
I mean, it's from $10,000 to $30,000 to $50,000 for certain acts that want to
roll up,
come drink, and not only come and just stand there. They're not doing a performance or anything, but just so you can say XYZ is going to be at your club. Plus, I need 5 bottles of something expensive.
So it's not a bottle of Hennessy anymore.
No. No.
When did you realize that you weren't just Peter Panning, that you weren't just staying a boy, that you were going to actually do a career with this? When did it land for you, or has it? Or have you gotten to live this life of fun, joy, party, and professional?
Well, like I said, I think everybody has their aha moment. So that transition from doing parties, because when I met Don Strasberg and he had seen, I met him and he was like, listen, I want to start bringing hip hop to the Fox Theater. I just don't know how to market or talk to the crowd. So that's when I came in there and really started helping him book and consult on marketing at the Fox Theater. So that's why if you go back through the history of the Fox Theater, you'll see the craziest shows ever. I mean,
yeah, what was that litany?
Outkast was at the Fox Theater. Do you understand that? Let me just repeat that again. Outkast was at the Fox Theater.
No.
Yeah. Far Side, the first time the Wu-Tang came to Colorado, Raekwon and Ghostface, those shows were insane. Like, when I mean insane, this is the Wu-Tang at their height, and then Raekwon comes there and does it.
And then it was a hippie jam band the next night.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was always crazy. The Meters or somebody up there,
Yeah.
But yeah,
but he trusted you to be his ambassador for hip hop.
Yeah. So I did that for a while. And then that's when my migration to Denver started going, because I had a little period of being lost of what I want to do in my life and stuff like that. So I was working at a record store on Pearl Street, and the guy back in the day who was running the Boulder Theater came in with a gentleman named Jason Miller. And he was working at Universal Concerts down here. And so we had a great conversation. I think I sold him a jacket or something like that. And literally, coming out of college, I was super broke. Didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be in the music. I was, just
you didn't know. And you didn't know how.
And let me take you back how far this. I get a random number on my pager.
Yep.
and I don't know if anybody remembers the pagers, but there was codes to pagers. So it was like,
I got to get to a payphone with this number.
It was like da-da-da-da-da 911. And so I'm like, what is this? And I was actually coming back from, I just found out I was going to have a baby. I was coming back from Oakland, hanging out with Souls of Mischief or something. Landed, 911, call, and it's Jason's assistant like, hey, we want you to come down to Denver. We want to talk to you about a job, something like that. And that's when I kind of got my first corporate job. And I was there from like 99 to 2007.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that grew you.
That's when I already knew what I wanted to do, but then it was official now.
So what do you think got him to page you? What was it that you did? What was it the way that you showed up? Because it doesn't sound like you were fully in your confidence.
I think people just at that point kind of, I had kind of established myself as hip hop guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You were a little bit of a legend.
Yeah, for me, coming from Las Cruces, it was my connection to a culture that I didn't get when I was a kid. It was even my blackness, and it spoke to me. And not only that, but it was just so, I have met so many people through music. It's incredible to this day. It's bewildering how many unique people, creative people, aspiring people that I've met. And so it was just really that time of like, okay, now it's official.
Okay, so now's the time on the show where we play the quick and dirty.
Absolutely.
This is time, and you don't have to be dirty, but you have to be quick. Okay. And you want to try to win. You want to beat Bernadette's times.
Oh, yes, please.
Okay. All right. Where is your favorite venue that hosts different kinds of music? So it's like, you think of it as like a place that you would go where it could be na-na-na or na-na-na. So it has this kind of anding vibe, a venue that is very open and can hold different kinds of sound.
I think you'd probably kick me off if I didn't say Red Rocks.
You got to say Red Rocks.
I have to say Red Rocks.
Yeah, it's the Amphitheater. That's pushing it a little hard.
I got that. I like that. I got it.
But for real though, I mean, do you feel that from groups when they get there that...
I mean, sometimes, whether it's backstage or you go up through the tunnel that has all the signatures, or you just go sit by the soundboard, it's just a magical place.
Yes.
Just because I guess it's the fresh air, you smell, and then people were just dancing and vibing, and then you look and see the stars, and if you're up higher, you can see over the shed and see into the city. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing.
It's magic.
Yeah.
And you got to work for it.
Yeah.
As an audience member and to get put on that stage.
I mean, you just really have to be in the moment and understand what you're about to witness.
Okay. An underappreciated hip hop person with "and" in their name or in the group. Like DJ Jazzy Duff and the Fresh Prince. I mean, they're not underappreciated, but they have an "and."
Ooh.
See how I just won that? I didn't even have that written down.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd like to win this game while you play it.
How many people have "and" in their names?
Sandman.
Oh, you got me, threw me for a loop.
Keep going.
Method Man and Redman.
Hey, see, just there, I brought it in. There you go. Okay, we'll take it. 2 adjectives that describe either the Denver or the Colorado music scene, and them together.
Ooh.
Can you do it in 2? I'll give you a third if you need it, because you've already told me it's pretty diverse out here.
I would say it's eclectic. Is that a and hardworking?
I love the hardworking.
Yeah.
Is it hardworking because you got to work hard here, or is it hardworking because there's just kind of an industrious?
I think it's because Denver's an island in the country. So if you're a band or an artist, there's not, other than Colorado Springs, Boulder, there's not another city you can drive to within a reasonable amount of time. If you're New York, you can go down the East Coast.
Right.
California.
Yep.
Denver, you're just kind of... Hey.
So to push out, you have to be hardworking.
Yes.
Okay. Speaking of hardworking, is that how your kids would describe you, or what are some other adjectives that your kids would say about Dad? And what do they call you?
Dad. They probably say I'm insane.
Insane and?
Yeah, insane and creative. But It's just because the insane part, just because it's like I often get horse blinders on, and when I see something I'm doing, it's hard to distract me from things. Like I gotta get from A to B. I want to see it finish, so I can go on to the next thing. But I'm very much like, if I commit, I commit.
Yeah.
So they just be like, this guy right here.
How do you, tell me with Anne's, how do you way to slow down, Francois, to get out of the like, what is your slowdown?
And you have to find time for yourself. I think that's with anything. But sometimes I think people totally forget like what makes you happy outside of work. Yeah. As you get older, also you just got to find, things that make you happy. There's other things that make you happy besides work.
But always music playing.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I over the last couple of years, I got into cycling. I'm back in the gym and eating extremely well. And, you just got
Smoothie? Are you a smoothie guy?
No, not smoothie.
No shakes. Okay, so now's the time where you're going to give a blessing.
Okay.
You're going to give a blessing to the next generation. You're giving the graduation speech. You're talking to a crowd, you're sending them home, and you're going to, in that way, and may you. And what is your on the mount?
Oh, man. Listen, everything is at your fingertips these days. You got to step outside what you think you know, and you have to be aggressive, assertive, follow up, and you always have to shake somebody's hand. Emails are great, but there's nothing like being in front of somebody and say, hi, my name is so-and-so, and shake that person's hand.
That was producer, promoter, music curator, tastemaker, and CU alum Francois Baptiste on the Ampersand. For more on 90s hip-hop and all the things that Francois is into, see our show notes. The Ampersand is a production of the College of Arts and Sciences at the University of Colorado Boulder. It is written and produced by me, Erica Randall, and Tim Grassley. If there are people you'd like us to interview on the Ampersand, do please email us at asinfo@colorado.edu. Our theme music was composed and performed by Nelson Walker, and the episodes are recorded at Interplay Recording in Boulder, Colorado. I'm Erica Randall, and this is the Ampersand.